All right, welcome everybody. This is a first for myself. Um, I've never, well, I started out playing Dark Souls 1, and my husband loved these games and really enjoyed playing them, and so he wanted me to enjoy them. I've never really been a big gamer. My brother had the Game Boy. You know those old brick gray Game Boys like back in the day? Yeah, those. That's what I cut my eye teeth on. Yeah, I remember this. I was still trying to figure out what all the buttons kind of do. Again, um, you should have seen. See, and I just let him hit me. I can't believe it took me so long to take that dude out. And here, yeah, see there, I'm trying to figure out what R1 does and remember what all the individual pieces do. Like I said, I had been playing Dark Souls 1 off and on for a while. Um, but it got to me. Like, any of you who are watching this, if you've seen, I've played it or seen it, I mean, it's very gloomy, kind of, and the everyday play things. Ah, shoot. Hate it when that happens. But in Dark Souls 1, these normal kind of enemies, they're scarier, and I'm not much of a horror fan. Not that Dark Souls 1 is horror by any stretch of the imagination, but it was still too scary for me. See, there I am trying to kind of remember my parry from Dark Souls 1, which I'm not going to lie, I'm actually pretty happy I did that. And I remembered. Um, but here's where I'm like trying to figure out the timing of pairing. Because, again, if you play these games, you're familiar with that, or I guess if you're familiar with gaming, there is a cadence, sort of, with the enemies. And once you learn the kind of cadence of what their attacks are and what the different attacks are and kind of their timing, then you can obviously learn to time your parries and your ripostes. Here, I heard this guy coming, and that's something I forgot, is that to listen, because you can hear them coming. And it freaks me out, because it's been a while since I played with a headset, and it can be a little alarming where you're hearing something happening in your ears and you have no idea where it's coming from. Ugh. There we go. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with commentating on your gameplay, but it's painful. It can be pretty painful to go back and watch all the stupid mistakes you do. See, oh, I still get freaked out. I heard him coming even now, watching this, and I still get freaked out. That is a very satisfying sound when you retrieve your souls. And here I'm practicing. I'm trying to practice pairing. These guys are so freaky looking. They're so much better than Dark Souls 1, though, for me. Plank shield, makeshift shield, combo together. Here we go. Heavy attack. You know, in a way, I kind of feel like it's a waste of time to try to figure out the cadence and timing and, to parry the enemies. But it's such an important skill to learn. At least I think so. It's awfully repetitive and annoying, but if you can get it down, it's definitely worthwhile. I will apologize a little bit though, because I die an embarrassing amount of times, and I still can't get the parry and riposte quite right. But this is the first installment. I will say that something else that did kind of freak me out about Dark Souls 1 is not only the characters themselves, but the atmosphere, I guess, of Dark Souls 1 is just a little gloomier in general. This is so far seems to be very bright, and I am very appreciative of that. Oh gosh, and knowing that the other dude is coming up too. I kind of am a little notorious. Oh, I'm a little bad at just kind of rolling off or falling off of cliffs and edges, so I try to be very conscientious of that. So I don't actually just roll off, because that is not a fun way to die. Yeah. Get up. I think part of what was going through my mind was I don't want to be ambushed again. But I'm not. I mean, it just is what it is. That is one thing that I did have to learn from Dark Souls 1 is sometimes you just gotta just learn how to deal when there's more than one character or NPC, because there are these places where you're going to be confronted with 4 or 5 of these guys, and you can't just run away. When you get confronted with a lot of them, you just got to figure out how to dodge well and roll well. I'm trying to figure out where that other guy's coming from, where he's popping up from, because there's that guy, but he's not activated until I get there. And see, here's another thing that I learned definitely was locking on to the bad dudes, to the baddies, because never having played, not having been a true gamer in any sense of the phrase or word, I wouldn't lock on, and especially because I wasn't used to using both joysticks. I was like looking at the sky and trying to fight these guys or whatever, and it's such a simple, easy fix if you just lock on to your enemy, because then you don't have to worry about what your right thumb is doing. You can just, do your best to not die, essentially. Trying to remember how to jump, or, to jump down, I suppose. And I couldn't quite remember, just pushing down and holding down circle helps me to stay running. I do have to say that one thing I really love is these, what are they called? The writing down there, the messages that is left by the developers. Um, they're so helpful. Again, I'm not super familiar with. Um, yeah, take that. Right in the groin. Sorry, dude. I'm not super familiar with how other games work. See, this is another thing. Knowing when there's somebody waiting for you. You know that something's about to go down there. You can tell. I mean, that dude looks totally BA just sitting there, and you're like, well, is he a statue or is he somebody I have to interact with? Are there any other enemies? Am I about to get ambushed? I mean, those are all the things kind of going in your mind, like, oh, I gotta check all the nooks and crannies and make sure there's no devil dogs or whatever hiding. But that's another thing that's pretty cool is when there is like a mini boss or like a boss battle area. I like that it's kind of a sacred place, so to speak. Like, nah, you're just gonna fight this dude and it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be epic, it's gonna be difficult, you're gonna die a lot. But they don't mess around. They're like, nah, this is a boss's arena. That's not to say you're not gonna meet more than one enemy, but typically in my experience you're fighting off the one main person. Like in Blight Town in Dark Souls 1, you only kind of fighting against that spider chick. And I was having a hard time deciding whether if I was ready to start this fight, since I couldn't do anything. But you just gotta take the plunge and like, all right, let's give this a shot. When you see the yeah, you know that as soon as you start the first time this fight, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. But I've yet to meet a boss or mini boss that just isn't totally cool or epic looking or whatever. I mean, look at that, whatever that is. I don't know the technical terms, but like the spear thing, it's just cool. And you see that tentacly thing on his back, and you just know there's something to that. But you don't really have time to mess around with it or try to figure it out too much. Here you're contemplating your life choices, like, okay, I just did that and I'm gonna go do it again. There he comes. Oh, I just let him. Just, I don't know what I was waiting for. I don't know what I was waiting for with those. And to be quite honest, I don't even know why I'm messing with these dudes. Like, there's nothing else in this area for me. I guess expect for experience. I hear that other dude. I don't know why I activate this dude before confronting this guy. Like, it's entirely possible for me to wait and confront that dude before I come into this guy's area and kind of wake him up. Here I am. I'm gonna try doing this. I feel especially the first few times that I feel like I have to get a running start. um, before I try to jump that. I love that move, by the way, guys. It's such a fun move to just drop down and that beautiful white mist. If you've ever, playing this, it's so iconic. Is seeing that white mist, and you're about to enter the arena. And, okay, taking my breath. I'm trying to remember the what the different buttons do so that I'm not just messing around. I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of the knowledge that I've kind of stored up to do this. Make sure that I'm all healed up, all estused up before entering. And I'm just nervous. I mean, that's a big dude, and I know as soon as you go through the mist, I mean, it's not like you have to pull the sword out again. He's already ready for you. Like, you already done woke this dude up. The music, it's just stunning. I love the score. It's beautiful. Oh, and look at that, these epic moves that they can do. It's just, it's so easy to die. Like, it just is. It's so easy to die. Alright, I'm circling him, trying to see I'm trying to remember to Estus up, because that again is one of my worst things, is I kind of forget to heal up. And then learning to appropriately dodge is something else. And I'm trying to kind of stay behind him, it's just painful. Every time. It's just painful. Alright, you see, and it seems like I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. But there, I just didn't. I was running away from him. I hadn't locked on. And then for a second there, I didn't realize that I was still alive. And I hadn't locked on, so I was freaking out. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing alright. I'm doing okay. Maybe I can hold up, but I've run out of Estus, and I still don't really know everything that he can do. I'm just trying to, and there it is. There it is. But I almost had him halfway. My second time through, I almost had him halfway, and I was so immensely proud. And I guess I'm still a little proud. But it feels like I was so close. Obviously I wasn't. I mean, I was halfway away from, I wasn't even halfway with him yet. It kind of sucks that you kind of have to take a few guys out before you get there. But I don't know, maybe that's just for anger management. And I finally get the bright idea of like, hey, I don't have to go fight those guys on the side. I can kind of just... I just fall on this guy's head. I didn't appropriately do R2. Or R1, I'm sorry, when falling down. But yeah, I finally bypassed those ding-dongs. And I'm going in with 3 Estus. Maybe I should have Estus up, but I didn't have quite enough taken for me to justify taking an Estus flask. I will say, like, it's such a dance. I love it. Thank goodness it's not real life. And then here, that was so cool. I mean, you know, inevitably, you get far enough from them, they're gonna do something to get you in range of their weapon, obviously. But that's a pretty sweet move. I mean, I wasn't even necessarily upset that he killed me, because that was just cool. And here we are again. It kind of feels like grinding, you know, in a sense, because you're just doing it over and over and over and over again, but you're not getting anything other experience out of it. Which, I mean, that's one of the things I actually really admire about Dark Souls is, I mean, everything is cumulative. You are learning what you need to continue and survive. And every time it just kind of gets harder and harder. But it is very worth it. It is. Oof. Right out the gate. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Gotta remember to keep my cool and roll. Like that. Time those rolls. I'm doing alright. I always kind of feel weird when they're just that giant. Like I don't know if y'all have ever read like Narnia, but I kind of feel like Cheap with some of these. Oh, and there it happens. I finally get him at halfway, and that's another cool thing about Dark Souls peeps is that they have that second, almost like a second win, you know, where they get just badder. Like, I know that's poor grammar, but they get so much worse. And that was so cool. Like, yes, I died, but you can't hate on them when it was a giant, like, boil, a pustule that erupted, and you're like, dude, no wonder you're angry. Like, you have like a parasite. Oh, and a backstab. I was so happy about that. Because backstabbing is also kind of an acquired thing. Granted, that one was kind of a mistake. I'm gonna admit it, that was kind of a mistake. I did not mean to backstab him, but maybe I'm a little pissed off here. I'm like, crap it, I was doing well. And then I guess maybe I was just in awe of his hideousness and died. Oh man. Oh, and he gets me just straight away. But like Cheap, I'm just hacking at his knees, you know? And his butt. Oh, it does take a level of like chill out to do these over and over and over again, which if you have the time and you know, you'd honor me with that time, you will see that I can only do this for like 30, maybe 45 minutes because I can get kind of worked up. and I don't ever want to burn myself out. So far I'm really, really digging this Dark Souls 3. And I didn't want to leave that. I mean, hey, you're going to go through the trouble of killing somebody, you should take what they drop, you know? I am getting lots of practice with this R1, and yet I still... You gotta make sure the guy's dead. Like, if you miss it the first time, make sure he's dead. Don't take it for granted that you struck him once and you just expect he's gonna die. But I'm almost sort of full on health. I got all my Estus. You know, you're like, okay, let's do this again. Oof. And I had not locked on, and I know I mentioned this a little while ago, but that's so helpful when you lock on, because you don't have to worry about that right joystick. Oof, oof. this world is truly so kind of grungily beautiful. This, I had not experienced. This was so cool. I mean, it blew my noggin. It was so cool. And that's another thing, you know. You're fighting these different baddies over and over and over again, and still you don't always know what all of their moves are. And so it takes you off guard. It takes you off guard. One of my problems you kind of saw here is that I was trying to figure out when to Estus. I was trying to figure out when you're in the heat of battle, you know, when is a good time for you to heal up, especially with somebody who's that much of range. I was struggling to figure out where to do that. Now I'm talking to my husband and getting tips because he is an experienced gamer. The trick, I guess, and that I finally kind of sort of figured out was, well, if you're gonna swing and you think you can do a swing, you can Estus. And I know most of you are like, well, yeah, duh. But for me, that was kind of a revelation. I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, man. Oof. I mean, for a big dude, this guy is pretty graceful. And I know he's not the biggest, you know. I mean, not when, you know, you fight things like the gargoyle. Ooh. Or, you know, the dragon or the hydra, or, you know, or the crystal golems, you know. And this guy is not necessarily the biggest guy I've encountered, but these guys can get a little intimidating. I get a little scared. At this point, I'm not taking any of that dude's moaning and groaning. He can take it to somebody else. I will say, once you've been battling, you know, the same dude over and over again, you get kind of efficient getting to the misty screen, or whatever it's called, the gate, I guess. Oh, he just flipped me in the air and threw me down like a hamburger patty. Ugh. Ooh. And I know I'm just trying to tell myself to, like, chill out, relax, breathe. Do you guys see that? It's like he did a little victory jig. How insulting. I mean, I know it's probably a glitch, but I got pissed. Oh, I did take a little bit of a breather. I'm like, all right, let's regroup. I'm being a little rash. Let's just do this again. And then it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you know. And there I was like, wait, why am I on fire? Oh, yeah, hello. There's a dude with a crossbow over here. And this is when you know, okay, maybe I'm nearing like a break, or maybe I'm overly frustrated. Which I know a lot of like experienced gamers, they don't get to that point until like, I don't know, 6 hours. But for an inexperienced gamer, I'm just like, and the frustration, like, man, I just got in here. You've already taken over half of my life. And then I'm really making some stupid mistakes. And that's kind of the point. I'm sure you guys have felt that before, where you're just like, ugh. But you don't really want to give up, you know? You're like, nah, like, I'm not going to let this guy get the best of me, or this guy, or, you know. Wah! Take that. I can't kill this other dude, so I'm just going to beat the crap out of you. If I can. Ta-da! And then realizing that I don't have to put my shield up. I could just wait for him to aim and then run around him. I don't know, like, oh, this is actually the point where my husband was actually like, all right, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks because I was getting frustrated. And he two-hands it. If that's not frustrating. He's like, this is when you ask this, you know, helping me out a little bit, showing me. Slow and steady kind of really does win the race. Not gonna lie, I mean, between you and me, he's not in the room, so it's kind of nice to see him get hit a couple times. Not gonna lie, I'm like, alright. He's like, look, this is where you can Estus up. You know, he's far enough away. There are a couple things. Not only when you're like, would strike him, go ahead and Estus up, but you can take some distance and take advantage of that. Like that, right there. You know, you're far enough away. Just timing your dodges, and, you know, you're rolling and all that jazz. Just taking advantage of that. And understanding, you know, iframes and all that, which I never, it's still all very new to me. And he's playing with distance and kind of showing me that you can still be kind of distant without triggering that like jump thing. He was trying to bait a specific move, and I don't really remember why, but he was baiting him. Oh, this thing is so grotesque. Like, it's just, ooh. I kind of wish I knew more about his lore, because what the heck? Like, what the heck is that? Like, ooh. That is a parasite's gone wrong, you know? Like, you hear about botflies, tapeworm, and this is just parasite gone wrong, you know? Something you'd watch on Dr. Pimple Popper Extreme or something. Yeah, and this is where I'm like, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's time for me to bid everyone good night. This is another thing I actually really find really cool about Dark Souls. And again, this, I'm sure inventory is familiar to everybody, but it's really cool. My husband tries to not emphasize, but encourage to look at item descriptions, just because it's cool, you know, finding out, and it's all intertwined, it's all mixed in together. The lore, everything is so well put together. Everything has a purpose. I don't know, I guess it's pretty obvious for most of y'all who've been gaming forever, but as a non-gamer, it's beautiful. That is beautiful. Maybe it's just, you know, other people take it for granted, and I'm just really enjoying and admiring all the hard work of people who put this much thought into gaming. Yep, the fading soul of a corpse used to gain a smattering of souls. Let the Firekeeper transform this sovereignless soul into a source of strength. For to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Now, ask me what that means. Like, I don't know, but it's pretty. Sounds pretty. I don't know what it's for. Maybe my comprehension isn't where I think it should be in order to play some of these games. Um, but yeah, I'm just kind of looking around, and I'm about to quit. I really did kind of just need to breathe and just, take a little time out because I don't want to get burned out. This was a really cool experience. I really enjoyed playing it and getting to this point. Anywho, thank you all so much for listening and watching in. This is my first time commentating. So if you find it kind of irritating, I do tend to be a little bit more entertaining in my normal, like, commentating during gameplay. But thank you.